Ladies and gentlemen, the Middle East situation is getting worse and the oil prices are spiking even higher right now. And more importantly, many people misunderstood and think that this is one problem. No, it is two different conflicts. So even if you resolve one of them, it doesn't resolve the other. So this is not a very good situation. And let me explain what I think will happen to the economy, to world prices, inflation, and finally to the stock market and what I think will likely be ahead. So please watch till the end and hit subscribe. So the oil crisis in Middle East is worsening and worsening badly. We're now having two separate wars, not just one war. And they're all driving oil prices up and inflation higher. And this is quite a serious matter. So most of the conflict we have seen so far over the last few months are revolving around the Straits of Hormuz, which basically is the channel between Iran and Oman. And this straits here is now being blocked, largely by the Iranians, and then Americans put on a layer on top of it. So right now, no ships go past it and sail through it, whether from the good guys or bad guys, depending who you believe is the good guy or the bad guys. So this is now being choked, and oil prices start to go up because of it. Now, to make things worse right now, we have got the Houthis in Yemen. They are a rebel group right now. They are also choking these straits right now, which is the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. And this is a problem because over the last few months, when the conflict between the US and the Iranians and the Israelis were happening here, the Saudis could actually channel oil through a east-west pipeline and then pump their oil, and the oil will sail out all the way from here to the rest of the world. Now, this is now impossible from this direction because the Yemenis Houthis are outright saying that I will shoot you, and they have started shooting them. So two tankers are being hit right now, and I'll give you more update in a short while. So the oil prices, as at the point of recording time, is right now at $89 for WTI and $98 for Brent crude, and is going up higher. So I was waiting to see whether this will breach $90 and this will breach $100, but looks like there's probably a progress that will happen tomorrow or later part of the day. But one trend for sure, oil prices are spiking up very high, and this is a point of concern. Now, just to make it very clear, we have got two conflicts, not one, two crises, not one. And the first one is something we're all familiar with. US and Iran are now fighting, and the bombing is stepping up heavier and heavier every day. And the Straits of Hormuz is now being blocked, and tankers cannot go through. LNG gas tankers cannot go through as well, and therefore we have a problem over that side. But that's only one side of the story. And now the Saudi Arabians and the Houthis are now fighting. That's a separate conflict altogether. And to some extent, it is not relevant to the fight between the Americans and the Iranians. So they have got some prolonged conflict between the Saudis and the Houthis. The Saudis were supporting the Yemenis government, and the Houthis is viewed as a negative, is viewed very negatively. And the Saudis have bombed the airport, bombed an Iranian aircraft landing at the airport, and as a result, this conflict right now has aggravated. So tankers are now being attacked. So two Saudi oil tankers are being targeted, and right now potentially a lot more are being turned away. So this is at the Red Sea, and the Red Sea right now is a real powder keg that is ready to blow up. Now, just to be very clear, the Israelis used to be sailing through this channel, but now they can't because the Houthis have attacked the Israelis. So the port of Haifa in Israel is now being bankrupted because the ships just couldn't sail from there. So the Bab el-Mandeb Straits matters because it accounts for 7% of the oil trade that comes from the Middle East. So that's quite serious. So globally, 7% of the oil trade being affected is quite a serious matter. Now, just to give you a full picture globally, this is almost the world map. So right now, the Straits of Hormuz is being choked. The Yemenis, Houthis have choked this part. But theoretically, if you were to take a look at this, there is a Suez Canal here, and potentially the Saudi Arabians could actually sail their vessels through here. Now, that's possible if your vessels is not too big, and more importantly, if you're serving maybe the Europeans market and maybe some part of Africa as well. But if you're trying to serve Asia, which is our part of the world here, then your oil cannot go out from here. It has to go out from here, here, sail one big mega round, skirt all the way here, and finally go all the way to here, skirt to Singapore, and then go up to Korea, Japan, or China. That's a ridiculous route. So therefore, this choking of this Bab el-Mandeb Straits is a big issue. So just to be very clear, the Saudi Arabia vessels cannot just simply sail through the Suez Canal for two reasons. Big ships cannot go through, but more importantly, economically, it doesn't make sense for them to sail through the African continent as well, just to serve Asia. It's very, very costly. So therefore, we do have a big oil crisis. Now, which country will be affected? Well, to some extent, Europe, but Europe won't be as badly hit because they could still use the Suez Canal. But the one that is going to be hit really very badly is going to be Asia, China, India, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and so on. So now, to be fair, the Chinese, as I said in earlier videos, have done a great job in cutting down oil demand. Therefore, that helps to cushion the impact. We don't know how long this thing can last and whether the Chinese are able to hold on the fort for a long time, because at some point in time, they were still taking oil from Saudi Arabia through the Bab el-Mandeb. So this is something that we're all very concerned about. Oil prices is going up and potentially could go up higher if the Chinese were to say, all right, I have enough, I need to start buying, and the demand goes up, then the prices will shoot to the moon. We're just a little bit below US dollar, $100 now per barrel. And maybe by the time you watch this video, the oil prices indeed will shoot across $100. And once it does that, then prices across the world will go up because logistic prices go up. The production of some goods that require petroleum products, oil or whatever, will all go up as well. And once it does that, then potentially the central banks will have to increase their interest rate, and that will have a catastrophic outcome for stock market. So this is a serious matter that the oil prices do have an impact on inflation and the stock market. Now, just to sum up, I think this is something we need to watch closely. And this is no longer just an Iranian-US war. This is a second war that is breaking out between the Saudis and the Houthis, choking the oil trade. And it's no longer whether oil prices will go up. The question is right now, how much it will go up and how long it will last. Now, my guess is this: President Donald Trump probably will know all this better than I do. They have got smart people advising him. Soon we'll see him coming out to manipulate markets. And he has a powerful way of manipulating the markets. He will start saying that, oh, Iranians are talking to us right now. They're desperate for a deal. We're talking, a deal is going to strike soon. And then they'll manage their prices down. And then when people realize that this is all hot air, oil prices go up again and it come down, go up, come down, go up. Remember, in the last conflict, before the MOU was signed, Donald Trump called out and said that there is a deal that's coming 38 times. So far, he's probably mentioned one or two times and the world didn't take him very seriously. But soon, he will have to do something to manage oil prices down. If not, you'll go up escalating. And that's something quite serious. And so therefore, we are watching a few fronts. Number one, what is Trump going to do to manipulate market? Number two, is there going to be a resolution on the conflict on both fronts? Number three, is the Chinese going to start buying oil in a big way. So all these are determinant of what will happen to the oil prices. And if indeed oil prices start to rise phenomenally, then God help us all, because that will have spillover to inflation and interest rate will rise, and there will be a terrible outcome for the stock market. So let's just watch on and see whether this will happen. And remember, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the live stream.